Welcome, my guildlings. Cole Spire here again to bring you safely through the dungeon of elemental terror. Last time on Help for the Guildless, we talked about a disease that is sweeping through the entertainment world known as RED, or Reboot Entertainment Dysmorphia. Well, today we are moving on from one disease to another, and this one is even harder to cure. It's called DMCB. Diarrhea of the mouth and constipation of the brain. I'm not really on a disease kick, I swear, but it seems to fit for this. A couple of weeks ago, I had an actual games journalist, and I do mean actual games journalist, on here to talk about Gamergate. Believe it or not, we had a frank and honest discussion about his opinion as a journalist. It was fun, insightful, and on point. And compared to the garbage spewed forth from ABC recently, a Pulitzer Prize-winning interview. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, let me give you a rundown of the filth that has been spewed by the giant mainstream media corporation. Gamergate is bad, okay? That was the gist of the whole segment. It starts with a trashy headline that would be considered a clickbait article, talking about rape, murder, and attacks on women happening in real time. This is bullshit, and many YouTubers have pointed it out. Show me proof of one game, one current AAA game, that allows you to rape a woman. Pro tip, you can't. There are none. Why? Because even us basement-dwelling neckbeards know that rape is a horrible and vicious crime. And in the same instance, game programmers know this too, so it has never been in a game. Besides games that are meant to be a hentai game, or a XXX rated game, or Custer's Revenge. I could go on more about the inconsistencies of the clickbait intro, but there is more about this crap report that needs to be addressed. Enter Anita Sarkeesian, one of the biggest games journalists in the industry and a YouTube darling. She has had more respected videos and blogs than anyone on YouTube and has over 2 million subscribers. No, wait. She's none of that. I'm confusing her with Total Biscuit, the cynical Brit, someone who actually speaks from a place of intelligence and reason. No, Anita Sarkeesian is one of the most intelligent and reasoned people in the battle against sexism and stupidity. She also has a PhD and hosts some really awesome scientific videos on her channel and is well respected in the community as a person of grace and humility. No, wait. That's Thunderfoot. Sarkeesian is someone who does the best to point out the hypocrisy of feminism and the stupidity of the SJW movement. No, that's Sargon of Akkad. Oh yeah, Anita Sarkeesian is the personal fist puppet of cis, hetero, rich white boy Full Macintosh, the mouthpiece of feminist frequency and poster child of the professional victimhood. Miss Sarkeesian isn't a games journalist at all. She is a quote-unquote pop culture critic and a feminist, the social justice warrior's queen bee, who has conned people out of $160,000, failed to produce her video series, is still shilling for money on her Patreon, and charges $5,000 to $10,000 for each appearance, whether or not she shows up. Her list of solid credentials also include being connected to a former con artist, flat out admitting she doesn't play games, steals footage from other players' Let's Plays, manipulating a scene from Hitman to fit her narrative, and blaming men for their toxic masculinity for school shootings. Supposedly, she is a target for Gamergate, which is what this ABC hit piece is about. And being a target has made her life a living hell. She has to be escorted everywhere by armed guards because she fears for her life. Because of one threat of a massacre, and I want to repeat that, one threat at a massacre at one of her speaking engagements. That after there was an actual investigation by real authorities, not people hearing secondhand knowledge from the internet was found to be false and not a valid threat. The police told her that she could give the talk without fear. But because the police wouldn't violate state laws and appease her narcissism, she still canceled her talk. But being this target, she has had to deal with horrid daily rape and death threats. She can't even go to the store without being slapped in the face with misogyny. I honestly have no idea how any of that is even possible, since all of the comments on her videos have been disabled. Her Twitter feed has an auto blocker, and Tumblr SJWs flock to her defense if she so much as stubs her toe, with blaming the inanimate object for being oppressive and misogynistic. She claims that once she finds what she sees as the biggest misogynistic example in video games or entertainment media, she finds one that is even worse. The problem is that the interviewer doesn't ask for any of these examples. It's just a given. Her word is God. Colbert tried, and the best she could do was give an example of Grand Theft Auto. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is her example for everything. Her examples from Hitman got blown away, so she moved on to every activist group's favorite whipping boy, GTA. You can have sex with a hooker and then run her over after you're done to get your money back. Now, you can do this with men too. Yes, I have found male hookers in GTA 5. But you don't hear her talk about that. There is a clear narrative that she is pushing. That women are just objects. The inequality of that statement is grounds above her gender studies and communications degrees. It's about her keeping the money train rolling. It is a fact that more men are victimized and abused in games. They are thrown away like day-old condoms, blown away by protagonists like popcorn, and killed en masse like krill in front of a whale. Tortured, beaten, bloodied, and murdered. But that's not enough. It's not enough to take the focus away from the background decorations of women and the sexism that is at the forefront of all of these horrible, horrible games. Now let's talk about Watch Dogs. This was another example that was brought up in this hit piece. The quick blurb they show of a woman being killed by a mugger is complete bullshit. On the screen, it is flashing red to fucking do something. You have to let it happen. You have to stand there and watch it happen as it escalates. How long did they have to walk around to get the footage? And then let it happen to set up the narrative. If we are taking these games as murder simulators and sex abuse simulators and rape simulators and misogynistic simulators, ABC News is guilty of the crime of conspiracy. They let the man murder that woman with full knowledge of it happening. Hell, they were standing right there and should be charged as a co-conspirator in her death. Sounds stupid, doesn't it? This is what these SJWs and pop culture critics want. For this medium, this entertainment medium, to be held accountable in the real world for digital crimes. Depictions of rape, violence towards women, and sexism are more prevalent in movies and TV than they are in games. Which brings me to my next topic. Law and Order SVU is doing a Gamergate episode. Who else thinks that this episode is going to throw something that the writers don't understand under the bus and make it worse? I love SVU. I've watched all 16 episodes, or 16 seasons. To say I am not happy about this new episode is an understatement. In any crime drama, gamers have never been viewed in a good light. We are represented as reclusive psychopaths, overweight slobs, and people who care more about fake lives than our own. I plan on watching the episode if just to talk about the shortcomings and misrepresentations of gamers here on this podcast. This is a very important portion of nerd culture. We are gamers. Now, speaking of special victims, see what I did there? The ABC segment didn't just have Sarkeesian. We already know Sarkeesian makes a living off of being a damsel in distress. ABC decided to get the opinion of another amazing games journalist. Oh, no, wait, they didn't. They got professional cat collector Brianna Wu. This con artist jumped headfirst into the victim pool and hasn't looked back. She started by creating a sock puppet account on Twitter and mocked gamers, then clutched her pearls in fear as those people she was making fun of reacted badly. My word, they didn't just roll over and take it. How dare they? Misogynists, bigots, sexist males, and boom, death threats. Not only did she get death threats from one person, publicly ousted as one man or woman from her, but they were Gamergaters. She, of course, has solid evidence that they were from Gamergate. Oh, well, obviously she knows her life is in danger. That's why she left her home. Well, at least she hid her location when she was out at a convention. No, she didn't do that either. She claims Gamergate is a terrorist group. The whole time, her voice rises in octaves at the end of her statements. She sounds moronic and looks crazy. The rising in octaves does a couple of things. One, it makes her sound stupid. And two, this is an involuntary reaction someone has when they want the person they are talking to believe what they're saying. It's making yourself sound more vulnerable. If you didn't get at what I was implying in my above statements, I'll lay it out in plain English. 1. Brianna Wu claims she was being harassed by Gamergate, but has no real evidence of it except a hashtag, which anybody can put in their Twitter responses. 2. She claimed she had to leave her home because of violent death threats, but in the interviews the day of, she is seen in her home, in her personal office, with the excuse she's just more comfortable there, after saying she didn't feel comfortable in her own home, or safe in her own home. 3. The day of the death threats, she posted her exact location on her Twitter while at a convention, and asked people to come look for her and find her. And 4, the final nail in the coffin, she still claims to feel unsafe in her home, but ABC is interviewing her in her home. I've wasted more breath and more time on these professional victims than I care to. I don't even want to get into the store owner, who obviously has never really heard of Gamergate and was probably briefed by the totally unbiased reporters of ABC, who basically said exactly what Gamergate stands for. Brianna Wu and Anita Sarkeesian are not journalists. They're con artists. ABC has not even done any research. They saw a narrative they could push, something sensational, and ran with it. Are they planning on interviewing Total Biscuit, or Boogie, or anyone who is an actual journalist, who gets paid to do it? No. They started deleting comments on their video, though, which to this day has an approval rating of 1,195 likes and 34,043 dislikes. The public has spoken. ABC needs to realize what the fuck they did wrong and fix it. HuffPost Live brought on 3 influential pro-Gamergate women to have a conversation after the debacle of Brianna Wu and her buddy on there. They learned, they fixed it, and they've done multiple interviews beyond that with Hot Wheels, someone who has been lambasted as a villain, to use vernacular from Anita Sarkeesian, by the SJWs in their own personal MMO against social justice protagonists. This is a call out to ABC. Bring on Total Biscuit. Do an actual interview and ask questions without letting them deflect like you did with Anita. Do your fucking job. And while I calm down from this, I understand this is a shorter version of one of my podcasts. It will do it for me this time, my guildlings. I've wasted more energy on this than I care to. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Hit that like button, and if you enjoyed this, please subscribe so I can guide you through the harsh world of geek culture, because it's getting worse. And follow me on Facebook with the link below. And, as a great journalist once said, have a good night and Godspeed.